Who killed the Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin? The story we believe so far was that he died in a plane crash. But something about this story never added up. There was speculation, but there was no proof. Now something new has come up, something explosive. Reports are saying that it was President Vladimir Putin's right-hand man who took out Prigozhin. Take a look. It's a Wall Street Journal report. It says a European was out gathering intelligence. The spy maintained a back channel of communication with the Kremlin. When they got the news of Prigozhin's plane crash, they asked a Russian official what had happened. The Kremlin official responded without hesitation. He had to be removed. Now here's the story we knew so far. At a Moscow airport in late August, Yevgeny Prigozhin waited for a safety check to finish on his plane. The Wagner chief was headed home to St. Petersburg. 9 others were also on board. What we did not know was that during this delay, a small explosive device was slipped under the wing. But nobody noticed. When the jet finally took off after the delayed climb for about 30 minutes, before the wing blew apart, the aircraft came spiraling to the ground. All 10 people were killed, including Prigozhin. The Kremlin denied any involvement. The closest thing that Putin offered to an official explanation was a hand grenade had detonated on board. That's what he said. But the report says none of that was true. It claims the killing of the Wagner chief was 2 months in the making. It was approved by the Russian President Vladimir Putin's oldest ally and confidant. Who is this person? An ex-spy named Nikolai Patrushev. He is currently Russia's security chief. Patrushev and Putin's relation goes back, long back. They have been friends since their days at the KGB. When Putin held the final meeting before launching the invasion of Ukraine, it was Patrushev who dominated the room. For nearly 2 decades, Patrushev remained a behind-the-scenes power broker. Often in photos of him and Putin, Patrushev was a figure only in the background, mostly unnoticed, in an unremarkable dark suit. But when the war broke out, he stepped forward into the limelight. He defended Russia's invasion of Ukraine in front of the entire world. Patrushev is one of the few people who have Putin's ears. For a long time, he reportedly warned Putin against Prigozhin. Moscow was heavily relying on the Wagner group, and Patrushev pointed out that this was giving Prigozhin way too much political and military clout. He warned that one day it could be a threat to the Kremlin. Prigozhin's confrontation with the military's top brass had put him on the radar. But when those confrontations boiled over into an outright mutiny, Patrushev saw an opportunity to eliminate the Wagner chief for good. And with that, the biggest threat to Vladimir Putin's leadership. Despite his good rapport with Putin, Patrushev's warning against Prigozhin went unheard for months. And why not? Wagner was making steady progress on the battlefield. It was trying to win the war for Russia. But this changed when Prigozhin called Putin and complained about his complete lack of supplies. You see, Prigozhin needed guns and bullets, and his men were dying in large numbers. The call happened in October. And as per the report, other Russian officials were also in the room. They heard the Wagner chief scolding the president. And this gave Patrushev more ammo. He warned that the warlord had become dangerous and he had no respect for the Kremlin's authority. By December, it was clear that Patrushev had won. Even as Prigozhin publicly rallied against the military, Putin ignored him. All calls went unanswered. By early June, the Kremlin announced plans to dismantle the Wagner group. It ordered Wagner fighters to register with Russia's defense ministry. Shortly after that, Prigozhin pulled his stunt. He launched a mutiny. But the mutiny failed. After this, the Kremlin did little publicly to limit Prigozhin. The Wagner chief traveled to Africa to check in on his operations. He was also allowed to continue working in St. Petersburg and around Russia. In the beginning of August, when most of Moscow went on vacation, Patrushev continued to work. He gave orders to his assistant to work on an operation to get rid of Prigozhin. Putin was later shown the plans. He gave his blessings, and that's what the report claims. Several weeks later, we got the news of Prigozhin's death. What the Wall Street Journal report is claiming is what most of us have speculated for quite some time. It also falls right into the narrative that if you cross Vladimir Putin, you won't survive to tell the tale. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.